So in our previous session, we have seen how to handle multiple windows. This one. Okay, so how we can handle multiple windows that we have seen. Now we will see how to handle this broken links. Instead of opening all the links and checking whether they are working fine or not, we can simply check if the links are working fine or not by using the HTTP URL connection. So using that HTTP URL connection, we'll be connecting the client and server. We'll be passing that URL which needs to be checked, and based on the response code, we will say that if the link is working fine or not. Okay, so we will see the code for it, how we can write. Let me write. Or else I can simply do broken links. Let's take Amazon example only. So once it is loaded, let's wait for some time to load. Driver.manage dot timeouts dot page load time. I'll give 3 seconds of time. Okay, once it is loaded, let's take all the links. So I'll collect a list of string li, import this one. Li is equal to driver dot find elements y dot tag name a. Sorry. This I'll pass it to a stream dot filter x such that x dot get text is empty, is blank. Okay, and then this I'll pass it to a map x such that x dot get attribute of href, so that I'll get all the links. And finally collectors dot to list. Okay. So this is done. We have all the links available in this li. So let me print the count of this li. So it is done. Let's iterate through each link. So for each, let me take this as str. So we will be iterating through each and every link, and we will be passing that link to the HTTP URL connection. So first we will create URL u is equal to new URL of str. Okay. And now I'll pass this object to HTTP URL connection. We have to use it. This will be from java.net.uri. Okay. Sorry. It should be URL only. It should be URL. Import it from java.net. Okay. Import it from java.net. Okay. URL, add throws. So it will throw an exception. We'll see how we can handle these exceptions. Okay, for now, HTTP URL connection. This is the class. You import this also from java.net. So you have to import it from java.net HTTP URL connection. For this, I'm giving an object as count is equal to, we have to convert HTTP URL connection. You have to convert this object you have to convert, means we are casting this object URL object to HTTP URL connection. So that is why we have you. So this is, we are converting URL from the object of type URL to the object of type HTTP URL connection. So once this is done, we can access the method called open connection. Okay. So we have converted HTTP URL, the object of type URL, to object of type HTTP URL connection. So we have done that one. It will throw an exceptions. Let me add IO exception. So we are establishing a connection. So using this object con dot open connection. So we have converted this the object of type URL to object of type HTTP URL connection. After that, we are accessing the method called open connection. Once it is done, then we can access. Once the connection is established, we use the method called connect these two. And once this connect is done, we can access the methods. So what are the methods? In response code is equal to con dot get response code. String response message is equal to con dot get response method. Okay. Now, if you want, you can print the response code is and the message is okay. Now, if the response code is equal to 404, then system.out.println, the link is broken. Okay. And this is the link. You can print the link. And whatever the link is there, that is broken. This is how you can access. So first, you have to create, what are the 3 steps? You have to create an object for the URL class. You need to create an object. To this URL class, you need to pass the link which you want to test. So if you want to test the link, that link you have to pass as parameter to this parameter to constructor of URL. So this is a parameterized constructor URL of str. So for this parameterized constructor, you need to pass the link which you need to check if it is broken or working fine. Okay. Once this object is created, you have to convert this object. You have to convert this object to the type HTTP URL connection. So till here we have done that one. Once it is done, you can simply, in this line, you can do it like this. We are typecasting, and here you can write con.connect, open connection. So it is similar to that. Okay, we are converting it. Or else simply you can write like this. So once the conversion is done, you have converted the URL object to HTTP URL connection. Then you have to use this open connection method. You have to open the connection. Once the connection is done, you have to use this connect method. Once the connect is done, that means the client and server got connected, you will get the response code and response message. Sorry, this is not the response method. This is response message. Get response. Let me check one second. This is get response method. Response code and response message will be, yes, this one. Okay. So it will give the response code and response message. Based on the response code, we can say that the link is broken or it is working fine. We have seen this thing in yesterday's session, like if it is from uh, 0 to 99, what it will be. If it is from 100 to 199, what it will be. So all these things we have seen in, if the response code is between this so and so, let me show it again here. Hmm. Yeah, today's session someday we have seen. Mm. Somewhere we have seen yesterday, like if it is in between 0 to 100, it means like from 100 to 199, it means a successful connection, something like that. If it is 200 means that is okay. If it is 400 means the client side there is some issue. If it is from 500 means at server side there is some issue. So all these things we have seen in previous session. So based on that, if the response code is 404 means the link is broken, you can consider that the link as broken. So now let's run this program. There is some exception. Line number 31. Exception performance. So line number 31. I think this is what is the size here? It is 108. So let me print what is this URL. Okay. Let me rerun this one. Why it is taking as null? We are removing the nulls, right? It's dot get text dot is empty. Uh, we are using the negation symbol here. Get attribute. Okay, okay, I got it. So here you have to write a condition here. Here you have to write a condition. If sometimes, even if you are using this is empty, get text is not blank, but href, if it may be blank, the href value, the attribute value may be blank. So that is the reason it, see, display text may not be null, but in some cases, the href attribute value will be null. So in that case, so you need to write the filter here. So str should not be null. And And sometimes this href attribute value may not start with HTTP. So you have to check these two conditions. If str is starting with HTTP, then only you try to establish a connection. So if it is null, what is the use of establishing a connection? So if the string, whatever you want to check, if the link, whatever you want to check, if it is null, then what is the use of establishing a connection? And also, if the link is not starting with HTTP, because we are checking the HTTP URLs, HTTP URLs only we are checking, right? So if it is not starting with HTTP, then it is not a valid HTTP URL, right? So you have to check these two conditions. If the string should not be null, and if it is not starting with HTTP, then do not establish the connection. Do not try to establish the connection. If it is not null and if it is starting with HTTP, then only you try to establish this connection. That is what we are checking the condition here. See, sometimes the display text may not be, there will be some display text for the link, but the href attribute value may be null or it may be not starting with HTTP. So in that case, so let me print those values. If you want, let me print. Or here only we are printing it, right? Let me check. So here we are printing, right? Then we can get to know. So let me save this one. See, now we are getting the output. If the link is null, then we are not trying to establish the connection. If it is not null, if it is not null, then we are trying to establish the connection. We are getting the response code and the message is okay. If the response code is 200, the message is okay. If the response code is 503, the service is not available is the response message. If it is 400 or something 403, I'll show you all those things. What will be the response message and response code. Let this complete. There are 108. So it will take some time. See, if the response code is 403, that means it is forbidden. It is no more in use. I think it is done. So if the response code is 503 means the message is service unavailable. That means server side, this is not working fine. Okay, let's take this URL. Let me copy it. This is the, let me check for 403 as well. The message is forbidden. There might be some changes in this page, like every time this will be updated. So for that reason, it is some changes, maybe under maintenance or something like that. So that is the reason we get the 403 status. So if it is 200 means, if the response code is 200 means that that message is okay. We can use that at every point of time. So if the response code is 404 means, you sometimes you will get this error, say 404 page not found, some messages you will get. So in that case, the response code will be the 404. If it is returning 404 means the link is broken, that particular link is broken. This is how you will get to know that whether the link in a particular web page is broken or if it is working fine or not. Clear all of you? Any doubts in this part? Gnaneshwar, Karthik, Mahendra, Pratima. Shall we go to the next concept? See, or you have any doubts? Yes, Mahendra, you were asking something.
No, no doubts.
Okay. So we'll go to the next concept, which is frames. How to handle these frames, and first of all, what is a frame in a particular web page? Okay. So frame is nothing but an advertisement. An advertisement. If you want to embed an advertisement in a particular web page, then you use a frame. Or simply I can say uh, a web page in another web page. Okay. So that we call it as a frame. So iframe is the latest tag previously, and these frames are no more in use in recent days. No application is using this frames concept. Previously it was there, but now it is no more in use. Frames are nothing but advertisements on a particular web page. I can say few examples like this in Make My Trip or something like that. In Make My Trip, I think we can find some advertisements. Pages. Mm. See. Mm. This is an advertisement. Tata, so everything is related to flights and travels and offers. Here you can see this is an insurance company, right? Tata AIG. If you click on this, inspect, I think this is a frame. Let's see. This is some image they have seen. Mm, this is not an advertisement. We have seen somewhere in some website I have seen where we can. Mm, somewhere. At- If it is a frame means you can see a tag with frame or iframe tag. So that you can see. I thought it is an advertisement. Let me see. Okay, let's check this one. This is also not an advertisement. Okay. Where else we can find? Where else we can find? Mm, in Google, Gmail, and all, you cannot find any advertisements, but somewhere. Um, okay, let's create one thing. Okay. So let's create one website which contains this frames. We create HTML. Okay. Inside this HTML, this can be a header, and let this inside this head, let me create a title. um, Frames demo. This is the title of this web application. So inside this head, I want to create frames. Frames means advertisement. So this is my application. This is my web page which I'm creating. But inside this web page, if I want to include some advertisements, if I want to include some advertisement, okay. So I will include like this. So I frame SRC source, from which source I want to add. So let me add this from W3 schools, HTTPS colon double slash www.w3schools.com. Okay. This is the source. This is the width is equal to. So how much area I want to cover? Width is equal to 400 and height is equal to some 400 like this. I will include. And then I want to close this
In Amazon.in website, there are items.
in Amazon. Let
Dot
me
in.
check. Let me check. Let me check. Okay, let me check with iFrame.
Yes, search with item.
Yes, yes. This is a frame. So somewhere you can find this advertisements. Let me check. This frame is- let me check this one. So if you see inside this frame, you can directly include that particular web page or URL like this. You can include this URL, or inside you define this frame, and inside this frame again you can start creating one more web page. See what they have done here is, see if you can see here, this is a frame. Inside this frame, they created one more HTML document. See, it has the tags with the HTML head body. So you can define it like this, or you can simply give in the source itself, you can simply give which web page you want to add. Okay. So this is header. Well, let me check. Okay, this is available. This one. This is iframe, if you see. Home furnishings is one advertisement which they have included here. If you see, okay, yeah, inside this document, inside this frame, you can see this one. So this is a frame. That means they have added this home furnishing is one company. They have been included in the Amazon website. So Amazon is advertising this company, home furnishing company. Okay, that they can do it by using the iframe. Iframe frame is nothing but an advertisement. Okay. So in order to show this as an advertisement in a particular website, they will charge some amount. but Google is the only company till now which has not accepted any advertisements on its web page. Okay, so most of the companies, most of the applications, they will accept this advertisements to show that brands in their websites. Okay, using the frames, This is how they use we use the frame tag to show that the advertisements of some companies. So in order to access any element in this frame, so if you want to access a particular element on this frame, we cannot directly access using the driver object. First, what we have to do is we have to first switch to this frame, do the action, and come back to the main page. So if you want to perform certain activity on this frame, on this advertisement thing, whatever, this is related to some other company, right? Home furnishing. So if you want to do something on this with your driver, you cannot directly do that. You have to first switch to this frame, and then only you do the actions, whatever you want on this page. And then once your task is done, you have to come back to the original main page. Okay. So that is about frames. So frames, how can you switch to the frame and all? We will see. So you have the ID of a frame. So you can use this ID attribute of the frame, or you can use the index. So how many frames are there in your web page? Based on that, you can switch using the index of that particular frame. So starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, like that, you can use the index of the frames, or you can use the ID or whatever unique thing you have. You can use that and you can switch to that particular frame. Once you switch to that frame, you can do the activities on that particular frame. And if your task is done, then you can come back to the main page. Okay, so that is how you can work with frames. Frame is nothing but an advertisement. So what is the syntax is driver dot switch to dot frame. You can give either ID or name or web element through which you can identify that frame. Okay. So if you want to give index, you can index will start from 0. Index will start. It is not ID, index. So index value will starts from 0. So how many number of frames are there in your web page? Based on that, your index will be there. Okay. Index will start from 0. And if you want to use the index also, you can use switch by index. Then if you want to navigate to the default content, see, you have switched to frame. You have done whatever you want. You're not going to close or quit from the frame, unlike the windows. So if you, once your task is done on the frame, you have to come back to the main window. You have to come back to the main window. So you use this method, default content method. So driver dot switch to dot default content. So this will help you to switch from frame to main window. From frame to main window, you use the default content method. Okay, see, this is the web page. So this is the web page. Inside this web page, you have some frame here, kind of advertisement. So this is the frame. Okay. So driver has access to this window only. Driver will have access to this window. If you want to access something which is present in this frame, what you have to do, you have to switch to that frame, either by using ID or locator. So how we can locate this particular element? So with that locator also, you can find that frame. So either locator or index. So how many number, suppose there are 3 number of frames, 3 frames available in this web page. 3 advertisement are available. This is first one, second one, and third one. So for this frame, the index will be 0. For this frame, the index will be 1. For this frame, the index will be 2. So you can use this index as well to access these frames. You can use the index, or suppose using the index, I don't prefer it because in future, if some other frame got added here, the index will not work. So better to use this ID or locator. ID or any locator you can use. So once you locate that particular element using the ID or locator, you can switch to that particular frame, like using driver dot switch to dot frame. So inside this, you can provide either ID or locator. Okay. So once you switch to whatever you want, you can perform here, like driver dot get title or get some information. So whatever you want, you can do there. And once you're done, so unlike the windows, if you are switching to a new window, You do whatever, you switch to window, you do whatever you want, and then you use driver dot close to close that window. But here you cannot close the frame. So here you cannot close the frame. So what you will do, you have to come back to the main window. So driver now is accessing this frame. Once you are done with all the tasks, you have to come back to this window. You have to come back to this window. For this, we have a method called driver dot switch to dot default content. Default content is the method. I think default content only, right? Yes. Switch to dot default content. This is the method you can use to come back to the main window. Okay. This is how we handle the frames. Okay. Now we'll see an example for this. Let's take example of Amazon only. So let me copy it in here. Let's use driver dot manage dot timelapse dot page load wait for 3 seconds. Now let's get, first we'll try to locate this particular frame. Okay, so how we can locate using the ID. Okay, this is the ID, right? Mm, maybe this this one. We have this web element located, so I can use this locator. So what I will do, driver dot switch to dot frame. You can use either index. So you have the methods three. You can use either index or the target locator or web element. If you want, you can use. So I will go with web element. Okay. I'll go with web element. So I'll give this, oh sorry, by driver dot find element by dot uh, x path. This is the x path. Okay. So I'll identify using the web element. So once I have been switched to that frame, so once I have switched to that frame, I can, now I can currently working on this HTML document. So in this HTML document, if I want to do whatever action I want to do, I can do it here. As of now, in this frame, there is only one link. There is only one link with this HREF. I can click on this link. I can perform the click on this link. So what I will do, so only one link is there in this, right? So if I use this A tag, it will target to this thing and it will perform the click on this one. So normally, if you use the same, if you want to click on this link, you cannot click because driver will not have access to this link. So in order to do that, you need to come to this, you need to first switch to this frame and then, okay, let me take this HREF or image source. Let me take this alternative home products. A whose attribute alt is equal to home products. Oh, sorry, image, IMG. Not this one. Okay, so there is only one element, right? So before switching to this, before switching to the frame, if you are trying to access this particular element, driver dot find element by dot xpath, and you are performing the click operation on that. Let's see what will happen before switching. Before switching, I'm using this one because this element, this particular element is present inside a frame. Inside a frame, if you are trying to access an element which is inside a frame, let's see what will happen. I'm not sure if it is present in this thing or not. So this is launched by automated test software. Here, that particular advertisement is not displayed here. So that is the reason it is.
Actually, here you're using Amazon.com and we are seeing Amazon.in.
Okay, okay. Sorry for that. Let me use that one. Let me use this. Thank you for that. Let me run it again. Mm, yeah, it is there. So see what is the exception it is throwing. No such element found exception. Unable to locate this element. XPath selector this one. So what we will do, first we'll switch to this driver. So let me cut this one. And first let us switch to that frame and then let's do it. We run it again. So it went to this particular element, but why it is not clicking on that? It went to that frame. It is not clicking on that. Once it is switched, let me close all this again and rerun it. Let me print this attribute SRC in that. So, let's try. Um, just a second. Let me check this one. ing.data SRC. Okay, for this one, this is the SRC. Let me check if this particular element is getting captured or not. If the driver is able to find this element or not, then we will see if we are able to click or not. Let me run this one again. Okay, so this particular image is found, but not sure why it is not clicking on that. So I'll try to click image dot click. Let us perform that click. It should come to this page, but why it is not coming to this page? Why it is not clicking on this? So let's try to use this JavaScript execute. There is no error also it is displaying. Error is also not getting displayed. So let me try to use JavaScript executor and check. It is finding that element but not able to click it. Let's try with just a tag. 1 second. Let's try with a tag here, because see, you see, this is the frame. Inside this frame, you have only a tag, right? So this is a tag and this is images. These are images. Uh, Let me use this a tag to click on it. Okay. So this a tag, let me use. So I just give the, because in this HTML, once it is now switch it to this frame, it can access only this document. So in this document, I have only one anchor tag. So only one anchor tag. So I'm trying to access it like this, one anchor tag. And let me try to click on that. Let me comment this part because it may not have the source. Why it is not clicking on that? It's able to access but not able to click on that. Should be clickable only. Target HREF. Okay, let's take this HREF attribute value, and write. Even if you take that, also no use. This is the image source. Here, no element found. No? One minute, sorry. Products. No error is displayed, but not able to click. What is happening? Yes. If you are not switching to that frame, it is saying that element is not found. So once you switch to that frame only, it is able to identify that particular element, but not sure why it is not able to click, but still no error also is getting displayed. Need to check, need to debug on that, why it is not able to click on that. So we'll check it in, so I'll get back to you on that in tomorrow's session. But we are able to switch to that. Yeah, someone is saying something.
If we try with HREF,
That is for opening in a new window. If you want to open any particular thing in a new window, then you use HREF. Okay, let me try with HREF as well. This is an right. This is an image. This is the source you got. This is source image. If you click on this, you will be navigated to this HREF. Let me copy it. Okay, we got this HREF. So if you want to open this in a new tab, that will be opened. So by using JE JavaScript executor, JE dot execute script window dot open of arguments of 0. So this you can do it like this. A dot get attribute of HREF. If you want to open it in a new window or new tab, you can do like this. But if you want to perform a click operation, you cannot use that HREF. You can directly use that A tag. So let me use the A tag here, arguments of 0.A. Okay, let's try this one as well. Okay, for now, let me comment this one. I don't want to use the JavaScript to execute a HREF attribute to open it in a new tag. I will use this web element A and try to perform the click. This A is also not working. We are trying to click with the A also, it is not working. Need to check on this why it is not taking it. So it will take some time to debug. I'll get back to you on that in the next session. For now, till this, if you have any doubts. So if you want to come back to the default window, to the main window, you can use driver dot switch to dot default content. So now you are out of this frame. You came out of this frame and you are now currently in the main web page, and whatever you want to access, you can access it from here. After this line, you will be able to access the main window. Okay. Is it clear, all of you?
Or else, shall we give the parent head in place of default content?
No, that is for, that's what we said, right? If it is a new window, then you can give a parent window ID and you can come back. But we, see, we have not opened any new windows.
Yes,
So
okay,
we are
sir.
only in one window. Inside this window, we went to a subsection.
Yeah.
In that case, we need to use the default. If you go to the new window, then you can use the parent ID and
Yeah,
come.
sir. Okay.
Others, any doubts?
Ma'am, will you explain on the debug mode? How to debug it?
Okay. I'll do that. So if you want to debug means one by one, step by step, how you want to see. If you want to see the flow, you use the debug mode. Step by step, if you want to see. So let's debug. Shall we take this one or any other program? Let's have. So for this program only, do I need to use the debug mode?
Anyone?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see this one, because you'll have a lot of navigations here, like the loop will be repeated, right? So you will can see that one. So let me use the debug point somewhere here like this. So what you can do is, before entering into the debug mode, first you need to add the breakpoints. You need to add the breakpoints, like at what point you want to see what is happening. So in this program, I want to see what is happening in this for loop. what is happening in this for loop. So I will add a breakpoint here. I will add. So in order to add a breakpoint, just come with in before this line number, you right click and you can see a toggle a breakpoint. This is the option you have. So you click on this toggle breakpoint. So it will add a breakpoint. So whenever the execution come to this point, it will stop here and it will show you what is happening at this line. What is happening at this line. So wherever you want, you can add it. Wherever you want, you can add it. What is happening and at this point of time, what are different attribute values. So what is str value. So all these things you can see at this point. So wherever you want to check the flow, what is happening, you can add some toggle breakpoints. You can add the breakpoints and you can check what is happening. And if it is coming into, so if str is null, it won't come into this if block. If it str is not null and if str is starting with HTTP only, it will come inside this. So you can add some breakpoints. You can check what is happening at this point. At this breakpoint, what is happening, how the execution is happening. If you want to check that, you can add the breakpoints like this. Once you add the breakpoint, you can run it in debug mode. So debug as, you have an option. Normally you can run an application. If you want to open it in a debug mode, you can use this debug as Java application, or here also you can find it at the top. This is the option to debug it. Okay. Now you can open this debug as broken links. Let's say as a Java application. So if you run it, the mode also will be changed. As of now, it is in open perspective mode. Now it will be, the perspective will change to debug perspective. So let me run this. The execution will stop when it comes to that particular point. See, the count of links is 180. Now here the execution got passed. It got passed here. That means it is not, here you want to check what is happening, right? So you want to check what is the str value. As of now, the str value is null. See, it is showing here. If it is null, what is happening? What is happening? You want to check. So in Windows, you have an option like if you want to go inside deep, what is the system? When this method is getting access, system.out.println is accessing. So it will, if you use this option, step into option F5, that functional key F5, if you use, it will go to each and every method internally what is happening. It will go to the roots. It will go to the roots and show you what is happening. If you don't want that, you can normally resume the flow. Like if you want to see only on this page what is happening, you can resume the flow. Otherwise, if you want to go in deep, you can use this step into, which is functional key F5. Otherwise, you can use step over. You don't want to see what is happening here. You want to see the next one. So you can use this functional key F6, or otherwise you can use functional key F8. See, it went functional key F8, it went. So into this, I clicked on F8. Once I clicked on F8, it didn't go to this, as the str value is null, it didn't go to this if block. So again, the loop repeated. Again, it came to this one. Now we will see what is the str value. The str value again this time is null. So again, I'm clicking on functional key F8. F8 button I'm clicking. Okay, it printed that one. Now we will check what is the new str value. The new str value is this one. Okay, new str value is this one. We will see now what will happen. The str value is not null and it is starting with HTTP. So we will check if it is going into this if loop or not. For that, you need to press F8 button, functional key F8. See, wherever you come up, if you press on F8 button, wherever you come across this breakpoints, it will stop. It will pass the execution there. So now what is the URL? This is the str. This is the URL object. What and all values it is holding? It is holding all these values: host address, port, protocol. What are the protocols that it needs to follow? Because the URL is starting with HTTPS, it's following the HTTPS protocols. So what is the query? So what and all it is doing internally? All these values it will be showing. The ID of this URL is 36. So if you click on F again, if you click on F8 again, the execution will now go to this. what is the response message? Okay. Now the response code is 200. The response message, what it will be. Okay. So if you click on F8, so it printed the response code is 200, the message is okay. So if debug mode, when you will go is if you are some logic is missing, you want to find what is the issue, what is the exact issue in your code, whatever you have written, there is some logic missing and you are not getting the proper output. In that case, you use the debug mode to see step by step what is happening, step by step what is happening internally, and where your code got missed, where the logic got missed. In that case, you can use the debug to debug each and everything. You can press the F8 functional F8 key to stop your execution, to pause, not stop, to pause your execution some points. Wherever you want to check, you can add the breakpoints and you can use the functional F8 function key F8 button to see how it is. Is it clear? I think Mahendra, you asked it, right? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. Any other things you want to ask?
No.
Others? If you want to come out of this debug mode, just click on this terminate. You can come. You can use this step into if you want to go to the roots, like from where system class is there, this object println method where it is available. If you want to go to that level, you can use this step into. You can use this step into button which is provided here. Then you can go to the root methods, everything to the from the scratch you will go. If you don't want that, if you want to be in this page and if you want to check what is happening, you can simply use F functional key F8. Okay. So that's all for today. I'll check why we are not able to click on this image and we'll get back to you in the next session. Apart from that, if you want to ask anything, if you have any doubts, you can ask. In the next session, we'll try to cover what are different types of alerts and how we handle them, and how we'll start with how we can access external data. So properties file we will see how we can access, and Excel data from Excel sheet how we will be accessing the data in our program, that we will see. Okay. So now this HTTP URL, so Selenium itself can't do everything. See, whatever we did here in broken links, we used HTTP URL, right? So this is a third party. Selenium alone can't do everything for automation. It takes the help of other parties. So for checking the broken links, we are using HTTP URL connection, which is a third party. If it is with Selenium, you will get from this package org.openqa.selenium. Only those related classes are related to Selenium. So outside this Selenium, because Selenium alone can't do everything, we will be taking help of some other third parties. One such party is HTTP URL connection. And I think we have seen one more example for this, where we have used other than Selenium, we took help from others. So let me check that. JavaScript executor. Even JavaScript executor also, we took help from other. One second, let me show you that. We have used this JavaScript executor. Oh, JavaScript executor is within Selenium. Sorry for that. Only this one, this HTTP URL connection, and going forward, we will be taking help of in order to access the external files. So we will be using the third parties. We'll be using third parties to do that. So if they ask you what is the drawback of Selenium, you can say these points, because Selenium alone can't do all the things. It will take help from third parties. One such example is this one. In order to establish a connection, HTTP URL connection, we will be using one of the class from Java, which is not related to Selenium. That is one thing. And if you want to access external data, like data from Excel sheet or properties file, whatever you want, In that case also we will be taking use of third party. So this thing you can mention it as one of the drawback of selenium, because these things are not included in selenium. In that case we need to take help from other parties. This is one of the disadvantage of selenium. This you can mention at interview point of time. Okay. Okay, so that's all from my end. If you have any doubts, you can ask.